you have to identify in yourself how to deal with rejection and how to deal with the negative behavior, because
there's two types of clients, customers, to be aware of. There's the complete crazies. Whatever their issue is, they could find fault with almost anything.
those are the ones where you learn how to start disqualifying the prospects.
And the second type is the slightly disgruntled, where maybe it is something that you did wrong. The customer's not crazy. So that second category can literally fall into the old adage, the customer's always right. You're a dry cleaner and you gave them the wrong clothing. It's a mistake that your business made.
Yeah.
Or you promised that an email would be sent out with some essential information by Tuesday at 3 o'clock, and by the following Thursday it's still not done. And the customer essentially is not unhappy with you, but it's a mistake that you made, and they express their dissatisfaction, not in a crazy way.
I think the level of communication and follow-up, I think, aids in minimizing how the client reacts or freaks out or follows up with being disgruntled, because we can use the example that prompted this, which is another restaurant client who said he doesn't respond to 1-star reviews.
Right. He doesn't respond to negative reviews on the internet.
Depending on the review, it's very simple to respond and apologize, and also kind of suggest in a way why that happened. And then that just negates the whole complaint.
His philosophy was, if I have a 1-star review, like somebody says, 1 star for this restaurant because we had to wait 7 minutes for a table on a Saturday night. Come on. His philosophy is, I'm not even going to respond to that, because he says, I have so many good reviews that when people read that 1 star, they're going to know that person's crazy, and they're just going to discount it out of hand. And our philosophy, Linda and I, because we met on the internet and we build our business on the internet, our philosophy is, it's on the internet, you should definitely respond to it.
Right.
Because number one, it shows the other people how
ridiculous,
even with a crazy, you still put the kid gloves on and acknowledge that.
Well, you showed up.
You showed up.
You
there
showed
you go.
up.
I like that.
You presented another perspective, another side, and
show some empathy.
Right. And when you show a softer side, then it
resonates.
It resonates. So
I've had more coffee than you, so I'm kind of finishing your sentences right now. Together 5 years, so I can't really finish all your sentences. We need to be at 30 years.
I feel like it's 6 years.
It is 6 years, actually.
Oh my God. Math is fun.
Math is fun.
Not when you've had too much coffee.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it resonates. But the other side is, what you and I know about marketing is, when the business owner, in this case, responds to that 1-star review, it juices the algorithm.
Yeah, that's a whole other benefit. It's a whole other bonus.
It's a bonus.
It is the marketing in me. There'll be an email that comes in, and while I don't do the loan processing for the EIDL loans, I am a marketing person. So my first response is to alleviate that we're here and that we will look into it. And you often are not feeling like we should rush. And I think, as a marketing person, that for us to let them know that we're here and we are going to look into it, I think it just takes away a bit of that worry, so that they don't become even more disgruntled. They're already disgruntled.
I agree with you only to a point. I use this adage from my mortgage career. When you want to interrupt my loan processing to respond to someone instantly like that, which involves interrupting me to ask me what's going on with the file, that's what I call loan officer disease.
Yeah.
Which is that you're acting as if that's the only customer and the only file. And the fact is, when you're on the processing and operations side and you have lots of files, it is unfair to the other client whose file I may be working on at that moment when you interrupt me to say, hey, listen, this person is asking for status, especially if I've literally emailed them 2 days ago.
Okay, well, maybe this goes offline where I edit this out, but I do want to just say that I think we developed a little bit of a system where I'm not interrupting you for a status on their account. We've established that I get back to them saying, we'll get back to you, providing no information other than Trevor's working on client files. This whole podcast is about customers. Are they right or are they not right? You, in the beginning, knowing how you did financing for 30 years, it's like, they need the money. Lynn, they need the money. Let them know that we're here. And as a representative of the company, I can say, hey, listen, Trevor's in the middle of processing files right now, but we will get back to you.
This started because I brought up about our neighbor across the road who has a landscaper now for the third time at 7:30 in the morning. The first time it was actually 6:30 in the morning with a noisy lawnmower, and I want to send them a note to say, hey, cut it out. this is because we've had previously horrible experiences with this neighbor where their landscapers were dumping trash on our property.
Debris, organic debris, not
Organic
trash.
debris, and blowing leaves and essentially
Right.
mistreating us as neighbors. And since we've moved here, they never once made any kind of friendly overtures, which is okay. You don't have to do that. But then by extension, you don't get to treat us badly either. And this 7:30 in the morning thing is just an extension of that.
That's just a lack of respect, though.
Very disrespectful. I mean, 6:30 in the morning, a landscape, a giant riding lawnmower. And so this conversation we're having kind of derived out of my idea like, well, if that were you and I, where we had offended someone like that, we would probably go the extra mile to take care not to offend them again. And that's what I mean about that second group of customers, the one where we may have made a mistake or have a lapse in judgment or a lapse in communication, and the customer expresses their dissatisfaction. And they're not crazy. That what you want to do is extend an extra level of care for that kind of customer.
Communication alleviates a lot of problems. I just personally think that. I'm a freak with follow-up. I've said it since we met. You've known this about me. Well, I might have had to fix problems of other people's problems, but I always did my way, and my way always proved to be even flat line of service, questions, inquiries, and
So the valid point, the thing is, having customer service background that I have before I worked in finance, you can have amazing communication and you can have prompt responses to customers' unhappiness or dissatisfaction. There's always going to be some crazies out there. And so the question is, how do you deal with them? This is about providing additional care to the not crazy but dissatisfied customer, going that extra bit to win them back. Because remember, customers vote with their feet. They don't tell you. They just stop buying.
I feel that, and I don't know if you and I disagree on this, when someone has an issue, I address it right away. That's my style because I want them taken care of. I want the problem solved. I want that energy out of my laptop, out of my space.
Yeah, but sometimes it's physically, Linda, impossible to do that. I'm mostly of the same mindset of when you have somebody who expresses their dissatisfaction, you want to address it as quickly as possible, which is different from right away. Because right away implies that you have to stop what you're doing. And not for nothing,
Yeah.
you got a business to run.
Right. That's true. That is semantics.
I agree 1,000% in the value of what you're saying with the communication. That's why we both disagree about the restaurant owners not going to respond to a 1-star review, aside from the marketing benefits and the algorithm on that. Responding to that also shows the other people who are reading the reviews how the business interacts. But responding to somebody as soon as possible, because the other side of it is many business owners don't respond at all,
That's true.
or respond days later.
So far, I think that our topics for our podcast style videos have been based on non-business that can be applied to business.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that should be taken to practice, it's not pleasurable to deal with a disgruntled customer, but how you address it can be where it leads to profits because you've identified an issue and you've resolved it and you've retained the customer. So that then leads to profits.
Or you've lost the customer if they're in the first category. If they're crazy and there's nothing you can do that will satisfy them.
Yeah, but I still think it's priceless to learn a lesson and not have that type of person invading your space and your energy.
I think we're on the right track. I like the pleasure from it. The restaurant owner who responds to that 1-star review, I don't know if that was me. It's easy to take offense at it.
Yes.
But if you think about it in the larger perspective of, number one, from a marketing perspective, you're responding, it juices your algorithm. Number two, how does that make you look in the eyes of the non-crazy customers? Makes you look very empathetic. And I think you could kind of like chuckle to yourself as you respond to the 1-star going, I don't care if you come back because I'm feeling great because you're helping me to build my business. Thank you for your 1-star review.
Well, there is that because no one is perfect, but you have to identify in yourself how to deal with rejection and how to deal with the negative behavior. That's a skill that has to be developed because there are going to be incidents where we are going to take stuff personally as a person. But I think learning to compartmentalize when it comes to business and people who are disgruntled or crazy or aggravated or, not everyone is going to be a fan. So if you're uncomfortable addressing an unhappy, disgruntled person, you need to look at yourself because you can't make that a reflection on yourself.
I love it. I love it. You know, one of the things I used to do when I was teaching loan officers with this aspect of their business, I would take my wallet out,
Yes.
take money out, and I
Mhm.
would yell and insult and curse at the money.
It has
And they
no
stand there
ego.
looking at me like, what the hell is he doing? And then I would look at them and I'd say, you see, no response. You know why? Money has no ego.
It's what we make of it.
If you want to take things
Yeah.
personally, do it when it's like your family or your best friend or your wife or your husband, your son or your daughter, your cousin. Take that personally. You know why? Because that's personal.
Can we wrap it up?
We're done. Go ahead. Wrap it up.
I'm Linda Ray,
Oh, I'm Trevor.
Aurora Consulting, where we're trying to make simple sense out of small business for your business.